You know, it's a practice, with a little bit of scrimmaging at the end. Um, the game has changed tremendously. You don't practice like we used to. Every fourth day was a scrimmage and tackling, and we've had a lot of reps. We've had 600 and some plus team reps and a handful of live reps. And we still think we're building skill and getting better and those type of things. But, it's hard when just you lose seniors and you don't have a big bunch of numbers. I mean, it's our job as coaches to be as smart as we can to make sure we get to the fall. But we're excited about tomorrow because it's another chance for us to go out and get better. It might not be quite as exciting for the fans unless they want to see, half a practice and how we do things. But that's where we spend the majority of our time on some of this grinding kind of grunt work. So it makes us better.
Chris, you look across the country and see some of these programs have 35, 40,000 people at days like this.
Yeah.
Is that something that you kind of desire to have, or is that not?
Well, we could get a lot more people if we had a full-blown spring scrimmage game the whole time. We just don't have the numbers. I'm just saying to all dog fans, hey, we'd love to see you out there, but we need you in the fall. That's when it matters to me and our team in this program. We get 72,000 regardless of who we're playing. That is game-changing, not necessarily spring ball. Yeah. 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 I mean, like I said, Jake needs to take the next step in his game. If he doesn't, we're not going to be the team that we need to be, for sure. Now, what you're talking about is summer. I mean, we got twofold here. We're talking about running a lot of team stuff that's got to come from him and a handful of others. But he's got a lot on his plate. Because it's hard to take care of your teammates and run things, and then he has a tremendous responsibility of him getting himself better. I think he'd be the first to tell you. He's got a ways to go, and we gotta take the next step. It's been started since the winter, and like I said, I think he'd be the first to tell you we're not ready to play right now. And good thing is we don't have to play right now, but the urgency, and he understands the urgency that every day counts. I mean, it seems like 2 days ago we started spring ball and it's already done. We got, one more and it's over. And the old guys understand that. The young guys are kind of still trying to keep their head above water, and then they're going to look in a week and go, did spring ball just happen? Well, I don't. First of all, he's had a really good spring. I mean, I love Miles because Miles is a football guy, and Miles shows up every day to go to work and get better. Like, he didn't show up to go to work to punch the time clock. I mean, he's on a mission, and he always has been. Now, what I think, about him coming back for the program, I think it's awesome because it makes us a better team. But, there's some decisions that got to be made down the road, and for that next level football. And it's not all about the team. It's about him a lot. And could he up his stock a little bit coming back? And, Miles think he has, more to do for this program, but also for himself. And but I'll tell you, I mean, I love football guys. A lot of guys talk about they think they're football guys, and they're not. They like the pageantry. They like all this, and it's all fun. Miles likes to go out there and work at practice and do that grunt work I was talking about. And that's why it makes him special. I think he's such an underrated player. I mean, you just put the tape on and you watch him catch the ball and you watch him block and you watch him do all these things. I mean, I think he's as good as anything that's out there. I really do. And so we just need more people to really pay attention to this guy, and I think he'll do some really great things this year. Yeah.
That's all the talk.
Yep.
So where on the spectrum do you want to see conversation about Petersen football? You just want it to be kind of isolated to leading up the game
You're actually telling me we could get that done? They leave us alone for 3/4 of the year, and then they just show up passionate on Saturdays. I'll take that any day of the week. I think, it's you can't have one or the other. I mean, our fans are awesome, and college football fans are awesome. They want to talk about it. That's why this recruiting thing's gotten out of control, because there's nothing else really to talk about other than this overblown, overhyped recruiting process. And so they're passionate about it. But it's nice to just, be able to let these kids go to school, lift weights. Spring ball, the hype starts to build. We start paying attention again, and then let them get focused back on in their normal lives, which is not really normal. It's not the normal college experience. It's different. But without question, the most important thing's the fall. Like that's when it's for real. That's when it matters.
Does it help recruiting when it is 365 days?
Yeah, I mean, I think when there's excitement around your program and everybody cares about it. But I think when we we sit in the greatest setting in college football, and those kids come into the stadium and it's packed. You don't have to say a word. They're in awe. I think we all are. I mean, we don't want to talk about it. We want to be about it, and everything it has to do with our program. Let's not just talk about it. Let's pack the stadium and say, wow, this is awesome. This is what college football is.
How do you kind of manage to make it work where we're in this environment where it's 24/7 left and right, everyone wants to know everything, but yet it seems like here at Washington, it's kind of this narrow, straight-focused approach. I mean, how do you and your staff manage to kind of keep that thing going and not let it get too much?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it has to do with who we're recruiting, the message that our program has to our kids. That it goes back just to the day one stuff of we need passionate Myles Gaskin type guys that love football like so passionately, but yet also realize that there's more to life than just football. That this education really matters. That not only getting this education, but what am I going to do with this education, and trying to figure that out here. And so that's what I want our guys to be. We truly believe that we can play with the best and be the best, but it doesn't mean like every waking second is all football. We can still have those passionate guys that are, this football is a platform for us to play a game that we really love. But then we got to use this platform to get connected to other people and other ideas and other things, and like create this really cool life that we want these kids and they want to have, because this football window is short. And so we need to celebrate it and be all about it, but there's more to it than just this.
Has it ever been something just to kind of think like, okay, what if we deviated away from the plan, or that thought ever crossed your mind?
It's not even, it's not like, to us, it's not a choice. It's not, you don't have to, like, it blows me away when it's that narrow of a focus by coaches and programs. Why would it be like that? I mean, I keep saying this. Like, I think everybody's life's too important to be about just football. Mine is. I'm not showing up here every day just to be about football. And I think the same thing for these kids.
Speaking of that overhyped sort of thing, you know what the Southeastern Conference is.
Yeah.
But you know the story, you know the reputation. Could you ever see yourself in the Southeastern Conference given the level of expectations there that's different than all of
I think this, like there's a fit for everybody. And I got tremendous respect for it. I love that. One of the things I like is because I'm about passionate people, and they're passionate about football, and I love that. But this is my fit. That's why I'm standing here at Washington. It's not about could I see myself. I can see myself at Washington. That's why I'm here. And that's all I think about is how to make this program as good as it can be. And this place fits me, and it fits all the kids that are here, and it fits our coaches. And so I don't ever have those thoughts. Like, I'm where I need to be. Hey, own up to it. Don't start throwing it his way. Stand up.
Plenty of ruin in the bus. Did you ever, at any point in your career, have any thoughts, aspirations about the NFL?
I don't. I haven't thought a whole lot about that. I have a lot of friends that are in the NFL, and I think there's some really unique things and cool things about the NFL for our players as well. And I think there's some not unique things and not cool things about the NFL. I always think you're trading one set of problems for another. And so sometimes it's, like when I left where I was, it was time the job's really the same, but you'll trade one set of problems for another set of problems, and sometimes you're ready for a new set of problems. And so it's like, I'm not that naive to think that, you know, oh, that's where you got to be. I mean, it's a different set of problems. Right now, I'm good with the problems that I'm dealing with, you know, and I haven't figured out how to solve them all. When I do, maybe we're on to the next thing.
The draft, as you said, Dave, you could potentially hear Vita's name called top 10 for sure.
Yeah,
Thursday night.
yeah.
What does that do, you think, for the recognition, the brand of your program to have a guy's name called that high on Thursday night?
It's awesome. This is one of the reasons we're here. So I don't want anybody to mistake all that stuff I said about my life is too important, for, you know, to be just about football, but it is. But we are here to recruit and develop NFL players if we can get that done. That's really, really important to us. But that's not the only thing, and that's probably not even the first thing. But for us to be back there and celebrate that a kid is going to, you know, has worked so hard, blessed with these tools, put them all to use. I didn't even touch it. I must be going hard. Yeah, so I think it's awesome. I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome for the kids. But we all know that that's going to be a short window. Let's say he plays for, you know, 9 or 10 years, which is an unbelievable window. And then, I mean, that's just like, you know, all the stars have lined up. And he's still got, what, 60, 70 years of his life left. And so that's what we're talking about here. I'm going to be there.
There's so much talk about Vita since he arrived, at least his raw potential. We saw a lot of that realized last fall. And you still think there's so much of that there. And what does that mean to you? And what do you do?
You know, I think Vita's one of those unique guys that I still think that he still could come back another year. You know, that's how young of a player we're still talking about. And if he would have even taken he probably would have been the top pick in the draft. I don't know. I just think he still has more to him. I think he knows that as well. And what an awesome situation to be in. What an awesome situation for a club to pick this guy and know that he still has more to him.
When NFL types call you, what are they more
Yeah. So it's always the same for me. I mean, they watch tape. They're experts on tape. They're not asking me on my opinion on do I think he's a good D tackle or a kid's a good corner or whatever. They're like, you know, how's this guy in the locker room? Can this guy handle money? Can this guy be on his own? Can this guy's house in order? Can this guy handle all this stuff? What happens when it gets really hard? Does he go into everything that we're about in this program trying to develop that? What's that?
What have you told him about Vita?
Oh, I mean, if they're all like Vita, this job is really easy, right? I mean, he's a great kid. Was very focused on his academics. No issue, not one time. No issue, anything. All he did is work and get better. Yeah, I mean, that's easy.
What have you seen in the place taking competition? How will the fair catch rule change your strategies?
Fair catch rule, still working on that like a lot of people are. We have some strong ideas, what we think we're going to do, but I would not discuss here and now. I mean, never going to talk about strategy. Softy's got all the answers for that, so head his direction. And the place kicking, you know, competition like everywhere. I mean, those kids have been working really, really hard. I think Peyton Henry's done an excellent job. You know, he's really, you know, you don't know much about him. He redshirts, you know, kind of in the background all last year, but he's been working tremendously. And there's no question his game's taken a tremendous jump since this spring ball that we've got to see him.
Does that really change on the racetrack for safety purposes?
You know, I think it probably is. Just because I guess if you read the studies, there's a lot of head injuries going on that play. And so if that's one thing that we need to do to safeten the game up, we're all in.
One, as far as some guys like Trey Adams, how are they slipping along? And two, how important is someone like Henry Roberts really been in this camp? Because in the event something happens to Trey's development, here's a guy that he's gotten reps and worked with the first team, and there's been some days where he's looked really strong. So how important is that been for you?
Trey's on track. You know, he's working hard. He's doing everything that he needs to do. So all that's, you know, as planned. Henry's had a good spring. Henry's taken a step. We're not going to play with the same 5 O-linemen the whole season. That's not going to happen. You know, we're not planning on playing with the same 5 any position. So, you know, if a guy's thinking of himself as a backup right now, he's got completely the wrong mindset, and we're not doing the job as coaches that we need to. I mean, if a guy's good enough to help us win, he's going to get in the game. Whether a guy gets hurt or not, we will play more guys. But the reality of football is, you know, you need 50, 60, 55, 60 guys to really do something special. And so Henry will be a factor.
How's it been, Todd? I think for some guys, you do real well. I'm just a placeholder for someone like Trey, but how do you think he's approached knowing that, hey, he could get his opportunity, he doesn't know how, but he could get it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think Henry's just a tackle. Henry can be a guard, and he knows that. We've played him a guard most last year, but he's taken a step. So we'll find room for the best, you know, 8 guys, 9 guys, and we'll get them in there. Coach Huff will make sure those guys see the field.
When you have a big intersectional opener like you do with Auburn, it's a little bit like a bowl game where you get a chance to have more practices concentrating on one opponent. Can you illustrate one kind of, without giving away game mindset, technique or strategy that you can concentrate on when you have a focus, when you have a long run up to a team like Auburn?
Yeah, that process really is not going to change because it's a certain opponent. We still got to take care of ourselves. And I think everybody does the same thing. They take a look at their first couple opponents, you know, to see what's there, and then look what their teaching progression should look like in fall camp to make sure we're hitting, you know, these type of things. So we're not pulling out something brand new the week of the game. I mean, that would be ridiculous. And so it doesn't matter who we play, that process would be the same. Now, you know, our kids, they understand who Auburn is. I mean, what are we talking about? Did they beat the 2 teams that played the national championship game? We talk about we're playing the best of the best right out of the gate. So, I mean, our kids, they know that. I don't have to say a word about that. I mean, I know what Auburn's going to be. I'm more worried about what we're going to be. And so it's always a focus back to us and where we are. But as coaches, you know, that process of like what we install, you know, our first couple games, that doesn't really change.
But is there an opportunity to do something because of the time you have that you can't do?
I mean, you could spend another extra practice day or 2 on those, you know, that first game, which everybody I think does. But really it comes, you don't know exactly what they're going to do anyways. You have a decent idea, but they're going to come out with a handful of wrinkles that is like, you're not locking in like you are game 5, like they're going to have a 1 or 2 wrinkles. I mean, everybody looks a little bit different. So again, it comes back to us being assignment sound and really assignment perfect. Like I know what my job is, regardless of how they line up. And so that's always the message for us there. The urgency and all that, I mean, and the hype around the game, like I said, the kids, they'll feel that. But as coaches, our job's to make sure we know what we're doing with our stuff.
So can you tell more guys, give some clarity in your quarterback depth during this week?
You know, that's always work in progress. And, you know, I think it's been really good for those guys. I think Jay Kaner's had a tremendous spring, and he's done a great job. And I think for all 3 of the new guys, it's been great as well. I mean, it's a tremendous learning opportunity. And I just always think, okay, they're going to have these 15 practices and all these meetings that we have. And now they get to go study all these cut-ups, you know, through the summertime. And then we come back in the fall and they go through it again. And that just accelerates, so it's awesome. But it can be hard coming out here new to the spring football thing. But it's, you know, it's great for those guys. It's great for Austin Osborne. I think about him as well. You know, he's handled it well mentally. That's the hardest thing. It's like there's so much stuff coming at you. Can I even get lined up right? And so they've all made really good progress there, and we're excited about them.
Comfortable with what you're seeing from the wide receiver corps?
I mean, like I said, nobody's comfortable around here. If anybody's comfortable around here, I'm not doing my job right. I mean, what are we talking about? You know, we're not ready to play. I mean, there's so much work to be done. Guys are improving and all that, but no. I mean, no, I'm not comfortable. Like, is this like crew ready to win and win big and win it all? No. Ask them about another group. I'll just repeat the message. That's our job as coaches, get the playmakers the ball. And, you know, I think Kamari Pleasant's had a good spring. I think Sean McGrew's done a nice job back there as well. I mean, all those guys are good. We need them all. That's the most physical position on the team. So whether they're in the return game or whether we get them on the field unique ways, we've got to figure that out. Yeah, I said it again last time I spoke. I don't think it's good. And so they give us this rule, so everybody tries to figure out the strategy. Earlier is better, you know, and I don't think earlier is better in this whole recruiting process. If a kid is, you know, for a kid that's like been able to be to the campus a couple times and really get to know us and our staff and all those type of things, and it's the right thing to do, and then great. But you know, we're just accelerating and making decisions earlier and earlier. And I think overall for the game and for the process, it's not necessarily better. That's my 2 cents. And, you know, I think most people feel like that. I don't know how it got, you know, there's so much horse trading in these, like, rules that get in, well, we'll do this if you give us this. And I don't know many coaches that wanted this. But everybody adjusts and adapts and tries to figure out how to make it work for them. And, you know, in college football, earlier is better. That's the mantra. Offer early. Throw 1,000 offers out there. See how many guys we can get in, you know, and the same thing with let's visit them early. Let's try to get them locked in. Let's try to – so that's what we're dealing with.
Sorry if it's already touched on, but that's what format for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Or is it just going to be another practice?
So it'll be a practice for 3/4 of it, and then we'll scrimmage a little bit at the end. Yep.
Just one more before you go. Whatever your vision was for year 5, for you know, track kind of to where you want to be, you think with your
Yeah, we're heading in the right direction. I don't think year 5. I mean, I know you're supposed to have a 1-year plan, a 5-year plan, and a 10-year vision. That isn't me. Like, I know what it's supposed to look like and what it's supposed to feel like, and our vision is like right now. And it's not like, well, we'll be patient about, there's no patience in this thing. And so, you know, we're pointed in the right direction. The kids are awesome to coach. They're really good teammates. You know, we got a ways to go in terms of like every little thing. And they know that. But we like showing up to work with these guys and the coaches, and we're all, you know, rowing hard in the same direction.